91.1 FM. Streaming online at crembc.com.
Hey, give me your volume.
This is Creme.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989.
This is Creme, your Belizean radio experience. News, sports, and entertainment. 96.5, 101.1, 91.1 FM. Streaming online at crembc.com.
Hey, give me your volume.
This is Creme.
Wake up, Belize. 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 Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show by people. Believe our hopes are to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. Is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that must be happen like I got blue skies. And nothing make people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play a role, get where you need to. You can tune in for work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait till the time? Call in, it's a show. It no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. WB. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show, my people. Believe our hopes are to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. Is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that must be happen like I got blue skies. And nothing that people.
Welcome to Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes for this morning, Monday, April 14th, 2025. From back of the zinc fence, sweet Southside Belize City in the country of Belize, known as the Jewel, or for we favorite piece of swamp. I'm Sister Yaya Maureen Coleman, sitting in for Brother Mose Hyde, and we're live streaming on XTV Belize, Facebook page, XTV Belize, YouTube, simulcasting on Creme Radio. You could download the apps, I don't know, could link with once and have internet connection anywhere in the world. Still kind of cool, nice. It's Holy Week for those people. Majority of Belizeans identify as Christians, so it's Holy Week. Yesterday, I'm at Palm Sunday. And so that's we time for the next 2.5 hours. And I know the usual lineup. We're going to have the weather forecast by the forecaster today is Catherine Cumberbatch, and it's being brought to us by the National Meteorological Service of Belize. Then we have our first news brief for the morning, prepared by the newsroom at XTV under the leadership of our absolutely dynamic sister, Marisol Maya. So, quick break and then news brief.
Good morning, Belize. East to northeasterly airflow prevails. The 24-hour forecast for Belize and her coastal waters calls for sunny skies today with a few cloudy spells, and high temperatures today are expected to reach 85 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast to 89 inland and 78 over the mountains. Tonight, the skies will be partly cloudy to clear with low temperatures of 77 along the coast to 66 inland and 60 in the higher elevation. Showers will be isolated. The winds will blow from the east to northeast at 5 to 15 knots, and the sea state will be light sharp. A low tide will occur at 15 minutes past 10 this morning, followed by a low at 5:31 in the evening, and a high will occur at 11:32 tonight and a low at 4:56 a.m. The sun rose at 5:37 this morning and will set at 9 minutes past 6. The moon will set at 6:26 this morning and comes up at 7:42 tonight. The outlook for Tuesday and Tuesday night is for fair weather to prevail, along with isolated showers during the daytime, then a slight increase in coastal showers on Tuesday night. In the sargassum forecast, satellite imagery continued to show high concentration of sargassum over the area. Therefore, there is a high chance that more sargassum mats will continue to drift ashore during the next several days. And in the fire forecast, the risk for forest and brush fire will remain moderate over the next 24 hours. And that's your morning forecast that was prepared here at the National Meteorological Service.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989, Creme FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news. The first private radio in Belize since 1989, Creme FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, and sports. And now, the news.
The Ministry of Health on Sunday confirmed 2 cases of measles in Belize. The cases were detected in Corozal and Cayo and were part of a group with recent travel to Mexico. After their return on March 31st, they developed fever and rash. All the persons in the travel group are in isolation and are being monitored. The last confirmed Belize measles case was in 1991. Unvaccinated children under the age of 5 are more at risk of developing complications from measles, which is very contagious and is passed from person to person. However, the ministry says persons who are not vaccinated are at risk of contracting measles while traveling and spreading it on their return. It is spread through droplets suspended in the air or by direct contact with nasal or throat secretions from infected persons. The ministry says that in light of the 2 cases confirmed in Belize, it has increased surveillance efforts for fever and rash symptoms countrywide and has increased access to the measles vaccine, MMR. It is usually administered to children in 2 doses, the first at 12 months and the second at 18 months. Infected persons present symptoms that include fever, dry cough, runny nose, conjunctivitis, and rash that starts at the hairline and spreads to the chest, back, limbs, and then to the rest of the body. Apart from vaccination, good hygiene practices are advised to prevent infection. Parents are asked to check their children's vaccination cards to ensure they have been vaccinated. Adults who have not been vaccinated can visit their nearest health facility. The ministry will hold a briefing this morning. RISE believes a national coalition of youth-led organizations, networks, and change makers has written Minister of Youth and Sports Honorable Anthony Mahler and Minister of State Devin Daly requesting a meeting regarding the current and future direction of the Department of Youth Services. RISE believes says it wants to present the officials with youth-driven recommendation and explore opportunities for genuine collaboration for the creation of a youth development framework that is, quote, inclusive, effective, and future-ready, end quote. They make the affirmation that they deserve more than token involvement. They want a seat at the table and say they are prepared to be part of the solution. At the same time, RISE believes is inviting all youth leaders, youth-led groups, and the networks across the country to stand with them. The case of Marvin Denver Plett and Lena Plett for manslaughter in the death of baby Ayana Bennett has been committed to the High Court for trial that occurred on March 4, 2025. The case dates back to November 2023 when it is alleged that the foster parents from Spanish Lookout beat the 4-year-old to death over a teaching lesson about colors. While the post-mortem concluded she died from multiple trauma, the police only admitted to lashing her with a belt over the span of 24 hours. Under the previous Briceño administration, there were issues in the Ministry of Transport to keep a steady and available supply of license plates and stickers. Now, there is a new Minister of Transportation in the person of Dr. Louis Sabani, and he told us in a recent interview that they are looking at the possibility of having a system to renew licenses and apply for registration online.
And funds and I want to say thanks to CEO Shal for he did a great job in the short period he was here, and one of the things he focused on was to put in place the necessary funds to be able to procure, but not just procure in terms of getting the license plates into the hands of the Ministry of Transport, but also that while here that you have systems in place to inventory systems in place to be able to monitor the use of those, how they're being drawn down and serving the public. So we're also looking at digitizing our entire process across the country. That will be critical because we know how frustrating it can be for persons to go and stand sometimes in the sun, in the rain at these transport offices, for which we are committing to improve all of them across the country. But with technology today, you should be able to renew your license online. You should be able to apply for your registration, etc. So we're in the process now of looking at systems that could be put in place so that we can evolve into the 21st century, which we're in now. But if you're looking at the experience that we're having, you'd think that we're back decades ago, right?
Last week, residents of Sartaneja village in Corozal came together at a public meeting to appeal to the Belize Police Department higher-ups not to transfer Sergeant William Marroquin, who has been posted in the village for 2 years. They expressed contentment with the progress that Marroquin has made in arresting crime in their community. We can report that their appeal was heard by the commissioner, who reported that the decision was taken to allow Marroquin to remain longer in Sartaneja.
The police officers do understand that we are a disciplinary organization, and as a part of our work, we must move. And when you're told to be transferred, then it is expected that you are going to take up your transfer. But again, Mr. Marroquin has been working in Sartaneja for about 2 years now, and the people of the village do like the way he works. I can tell you that he has been instrumental in 2 major drug busts in that area just last year. And so the people have gotten to like him. They are comfortable with him being in their village, policing the village, and it has been a problematic era for us before he went there. And so having heard the complaints of the people, I have decided to rescind the transfer of Mr. Marroquin, so he remains in Sartaneja for a little while longer.
At the end of the first news brief for this Monday morning behind the zinc fence, you could tune in to Creme Radio immediately after Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes from 9 to 12. There will be the morning stew on the known one, get news, commentary, community conversation. And then at 12:30 on Creme Radio, there's a full news package. At 3 o'clock, there's a news brief. And at 5:15, there's a full news package on Creme Radio. Here at XTV at 6 o'clock, there's a full news package. And when we stay linking, we're going to take one quick break. When we come back, open up the phone lines and a full time.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989. The news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports.
Randolph Friesen, and I manage Westwell Produce, better known as Granny's Foods. That's our main brand. So we offer high quality grains, beans, rice, and we also offer corn chips made from 100% locally grown corn. We saw a need for high quality, locally produced products. A lot of the best products are being exported, and we said, we need to keep some of the best products here in Belize rather than export everything. Atlantic Bank has helped us achieve our goals by providing the financing for us to be able to launch products faster than we would without the financing that they offer. We find that Atlantic Bank is very customer friendly, especially with small and medium-sized businesses. We find that Atlantic Bank is more than willing to go the extra mile. They try to understand your business. So when we go to Atlantic Bank with a certain need, we find that they try to develop a solution that will meet our specific need. I would encourage any small business owner to go to Atlantic Bank for their financial services. They're very friendly, and just overall, their service is excellent.
Amandala is now online. You can now access Amandala's midweek and weekend issues online by logging on to our website at amandala.com.bz/news and joining our membership portal today. There's 5 easy steps to get unlimited access to weekly e-paper, archive publications, and a host of other exclusive contents. Number 1, go to Amandala's website. Number 2, navigate to subscribed areas. Number 3, choose a membership level. Number 4, check out using our secured portal. Number 5, log into the members only section. Telephone numbers 501-280-4703 or 202-4477. Fax us at 501-222-4702, or you could email at amandalapress@yahoo.com or amandalapress@gmail.com. Amandala, all power to the people.
Years ago, we built a company that is about more than just connection through technology. We've been partners in progress, empowering communities, nurturing growth, and strengthening bonds. We've grown together, lifting not just businesses, but dreams, not just communities, but families. Because true success isn't measured in years, but in the lives we've touched, the opportunities we've created, and the connections we've made together.
As a smart customer for the past 18 years, they have provided me with exceptional value and connected me to the most significant moments in my life.
For 20 years, Smart has been a pioneer in telecommunication innovation, from offering services in underserved areas to launching promotions that increase your connectivity.
They go beyond calls. They're committed to a brighter future for us all. That's why I'm proud to stand behind them.
As we look ahead, our mission to enrich your lifestyle with affordable, innovative, and cutting-edge wireless communication solutions is stronger than ever. We'll continue to connect what matters most, you. Smart, celebrating 20 years of bringing people together.
Amandala Easter Notice. Our advertisers, sellers, and readers are advised that there will only be one issue of the newspaper for Easter week.
Welcome back to Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes for this Monday morning, Holy Week. It's 10 minutes to 7. Our next break is going to be at 7:30 for 2 cents come. The phone number to call is 280-5848. I know I did watching it in the camera, right? So to the left there's a monitor, so like for peripheral vision, you could see yourself. But if I look to my left, then I could see that I did look off camera. But this a red popping. I wouldn't generally wear red. It was my mom's favorite color, but that is my favorite color. But when I'm a good sister, give it to me as a gift. And I like how it feels for me. The fabric feels nice. Just that I want to pop up red. And as you can see, I have been one of my African-inspired hairstyle, thanks to Malika Wagner, my hair magician. I have to give I surprised her they call Malika number. Malika phone supposed to ring off at the hook because Malika is that person. Malika's number is 664-8227. 664-8227. Now call Malika and give Malika some business. Oh, listen to Harlan Wagner. Come out here the MCO, Kohala, that are my sister. Yes, Harlan, I know say Malika your sister. So yes, today is day 223 actually of the United Black Association for Development, UBAD, Educational Foundation, hashtag BZE, Hair Law 2024. Since last year, UEF has been leading the call for the state to enforce the Constitution of Belize, will allow Belizean students in a UEF case for business that Black children for exercise their human right for have access to education and for go to school with their natural hair or protected hairstyle or locks or bantu knots, braids, twists, at whatever length or however they want to wear it. That's their right. As well as other Belizeans who don't identify as African descendants, racialized as Black people. Since we started the campaign 223 days ago, we've expanded it for set to the state. It should also, the Constitution should also be enforced for employees within the private sector and public sector. And we started a campaign because like most Belizeans, you get exhausted, drained, tired of almost every academic school year. You hear one news report of one child or children being sent home. Over one, I think now a 12-year period, how UF track it, we've had reported cases, and remember they're the only cases we get reported. Think about all the cases we not get reported. These are cases that were reported in all 6 districts from primary school to tertiary level of Belizean students being denied access to education and being told that because they're not conform to school rules, which are in violation of the Constitution, and oftentimes they are school rules that left over from the colonizer, European enslaver, church, state, school system. And then I start to have that conversation, something jumping in my mind, and I say, when I go home, I want to do it, and I completely forget to do it. But the number for call at 280-5848, 280-5848. No say, because most of the schools that believe that church, state schools, or Christian schools, for their first responsibility that for saving souls, and the second one that for educate people. When they first come to they tell them for go preach to the enslaved people, and they never want to go preach to the enslaved people. Initially, they never want to go. But that's a whole other conversation I could prepare for one next time. So I explain to you, I share with you my African-inspired hairstyle, because for 2025, once a month, I'm intentional for walk from Ladyville to the Ministry of Education headquarters on North Front Street. And a protest, once a month, a protest. I walk up and down in front of the Ministry of Education office on North Front Street for 4 hours. And then once a month, I walk from Ladyville to Belize City. Now, I'm really being intentional in getting fit, flexible, healthy. Give thanks to the Belize Diabetes Association, what I mean, jump starter. I don't know how they call along everybody. I was supposed to approach, I think Wednesday at the deadline, if we start January 1st, for the Belize Diabetes Association marathon that they encourage Belizeans to walk to minimize the risk of being diagnosed with diabetes, or even if you're done diagnosed or you're pre-diabetic, you know, manageable if we be intentional in walking 10,000 to 11,000 steps a day, which is about 5 to 6 miles. And so if the people that may start January 1st, or I believe it's the 15th or the 16th of this month, they would have reached 1 million steps. 1 million steps. Now, some people don't reach the 1 million steps already, but for that one, we'll take it incrementally. I want to reach there. Big respect for stay committed, for get up, what I call rain, sun, the shine, on a keep on a word to on a self, investing on a well-being, on a start to walk consistently. So I give credit to Belize Diabetes Association for jumpstart me. And so a part of it is also for make I get back in a shape. So at a walk Thursday, usually at a walk on Tuesday, but I'm hosting WB. So I'll walk on Thursday from Ladyville to Belize City. I usually live my sister house where the house sits since 2017, about 5:30 in the morning. And then, yeah, head down to Belize City, weather permitting, of course. Oh, I don't know what his brother name, but anytime he see me for years, he called me my ears and my eyes. So anytime I see him, I call him my ears and my eyes. I don't know why name, but he's well known in the Martins community. Thin, dark-skinned brother. I do believe it must be a football player or an athlete. Usually they're on a bicycle. But it tells me, say, the next time you walk from Ladyville, I want to walk with you. So, brother, I hope you get a message at the walk Thursday morning. Cause I tell you, don't tell me nothing, you know, I keep your word because I want to hold you accountable publicly. So you say you walk with me. And if anybody want to walk with me, then can walk with me. I ain't not responsible for you. You choose to walk with me, you're responsible for yourself. So if you need your water, want a rag, want a cap, the sun is real. But I me not know your health condition. If me not ask you to keep up with me, if you don't want to walk, you're responsible for yourself. I don't make you know. But if you don't want to walk, you're welcome for walk. So UEF has been, you know, at a calling most times once a week and share updates, different information. For said that one other academic year will come again in September, and we don't want one next report. So we get a new Minister of Education, and so at the lower time for, you know, get in a ministry leave it, and then you want to get a letter, and then we ask for sit down with her with one. Remember, UEF interests the African descendants racialized as black people. That are for we business, that are for we focus. It don't mean that other people who may identify differently not experience hair discrimination, I believe. And it's a part of racism. And so I'm seriously considering asking when we meet with the Ministry of Education to ask people of other ethnic group to go with us, because again, it impacts all Belizeans. And it wouldn't be the traditional people who set and represent ethnic group of people. It will be people who I know to be credible, and oftentimes the people have colonial papers, and I try my best to partner with youths. The number to call is 280-5848. I think I done the talk was about 5 or 10 minutes already. And I really don't want to up here to talk and talk and talk. But that talk show, but they're really for we time. So we could call in and talk about whatever we want to talk about. I think that brother will call in, I have a brother who usually call in. And I him bring to our attention last week or week before last about the case of the Mennonite couple who were accused of, at minimum, child abuse. A Belizean child died on their watch. And after him bring it to FUI attention, we bring it to XTV newsroom attention, and they've been following up, and that made the news again today. So I believe that brother might call in for sure. I hope he call in because of him, we follow up on that. And that's why these community conversations are critical, that we have this space for talk about whatever we want to talk about. That not everything we want to talk about, I have to comment pan or I have to agree or disagree with. This is our inclusive space. Remember that one daytime talk show. So be mindful of the words we want to use. And we could express sentiments, thoughts, feelings, ideas, concerns, critique. Just be mindful that our morning talk show, we have children of all ages, elders listening. So we want to choose the words carefully. And we want to watch with tone and with volume as well. Something I personally work on. So I want to welcome for Carl. So I was sharing that UEF, hope for meet sometime in April. I think the students then go on break maybe June. I'm not sure. If you don't know when the children going on summer break, I know it's different for primary school and high school. I know. I try to figure out. Morning, thanks for Carl. Talk to me.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
When I watch the news in Belize or media and everything, when I watch the press or the people that news conference, the television, TV shows, whatever, but it seems that the government or the guys in politicians they're friends, so they can control the conversation when they're on media time and everything. I know that for a fact, and they all know each other. The media knows the politicians. Politicians know the media. So the questions you can ask, because from what I see, the politicians dominate the news conference. They got them in their hands, so they control them. Now, you're about being black and everything, right? I did oceanography and everything, and as you know, this earth was once all connected together, one continent, one superpower continent back in the days, And when millions of years ago, the black, we look around the Trump, Kush and Ethiopia, black came from that era. It was first black. They still got the black body in the museum right now called Tesla right now. I think it's Tesla. The body by Ethiopia, Kush in the museum right now. This earth is black. Even the scientists and my professors always say that everybody in this world got black DNA inside them. So it could be a fact, it could be opinion. Everybody was black, but when all 7 of these countries broke apart, their pigment skin changed. That was my opinion when I get hired sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And they turned different colors and everything, but everything comes from a black man. You know what I'm saying? And over there in Australia or Russia, where they can't find crop, they came and slaved their own people back in the days. That's all, slavery started because of things wasn't developed, and this white man think that they dominated everything, which was us, because the white man is the black man. You know what I'm saying? Because they got black DNA. But anyway, that's all I got to say, Sister Yaya.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate the call.
All right. Yeah.
I have to ask the brother next time, Carl, our part of the United States that they call from. He's been a regular caller. Thanks for the call. And you never know what people know. And so I'm willing to listen and learn from other people. And yes, so that's why I have my African hairstyle in this morning. Thanks to Malika Wagner for constantly working with me, even though you say I'm tired sometimes. Because I take the picture and carry it to her and tell her, this is the way I want. And sometimes I'll do better than the picture itself as far as I'm concerned. So big thanks to that. What's happening in Belize? That's good. I know a number of people, oh my gosh, I catch the bus, public transportation, which, now another conversation for stretch talking, but anyways, in the week I catch one bus, I think it would have been Friday, yes, because Friday I'm the last day of school before children go on Easter break for 2 weeks. So the front of the bus, they have 3 youths, 2 little girls and 1 little boy. I'd say at most they're in an infant 2, maybe infant 1, but at most they're in an infant 2. Now, the amount of sugar the youth that they consume, because, well, like Easter and people get Easter basket. Well, some people, not everybody get Easter basket. and lot of candy. Now, I know this is traditional. I get it. But when you know better, we should do better. That we, for most of them healthy. There's no nutritional value from the eat up all the candy. And not only the children, we the adults eat it too. I guilty, so I could talk. It's not healthy. It's not good. It's bad, 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 bad. Beyond the sugar, the artificial coloring, there's so much thing in it to ban. One number of them things when they send to developing countries, even in the United States, there are other countries where you can't sell anything there. But the United States, some of them, they make you sell it, and one number of them can't believe. So I really want caution with people upon all the, and I want to say the adults there. You see somebody with their basket last week, you see somebody in the buy their thing like bags of chips, bags of, like, cause they go make Easter basket. But anyway, back to them 3 children, right? So then they eat a lot of sugar, so they hype. And I study the next thing they know the conductor come for collect money. So the conductor look at me and say, then they sleep. So I said to myself, I'm surprised that all of them they sleep as much sugar as they eat. All of them knock out. So when the conductor get close to me, I had about 3 seats behind her, he say, anytime time for pay money, then go sleep. He say, watch. Watch how you see one and they look back directly. And as I say it, one of the legal out of the side, just like peep back for see where the conductor did. And me and one elder behind me like, shock. Then children like infant 1 and infant 2. And then don't learn and master how to be dishonest as it relates to paying the fare for the bus. So the woman behind me said, I know they have the money because I know their parents and their parents give them money for pay for the bus. So the conductor said, sometimes they spend the money, but I just tell them, if they don't have the money, just tell me. And I had to watch their children and I just cannot believe that the one to deal with and the inner like infant too. So I'm like, my goodness. So when the person behind me, they get off of the bus, she gonna shake one of them and say, pay the conductor his money, which I thought was very good. I know that was important in a community for maintain healthy communities, but I'm just really shocked at that. And so one number of the ills, and there's an African proverb, I think it said the destruction of a nation begins in the household. And one number of we, again, remember now, one lot of were born with the trauma from the enslavement of our people. And no said the enslavement of our people, that not the beginning of African descendants racialized as black people in the diaspora story. Our story started thousands of years ago, evidence-based. So if you pay attention and you're willing to do the research yourself, and the research could be as, you could go up on YouTube and put in Gregorian calendar, because the calendar we would use the Gregorian calendar. I looked this morning and it was 443 years ago in October 1582 that then changed from the Julian calendar, Catholics, to the Gregorian calendar. Before the year, because it is said based on the Gregorian calendar, we're in the year 2025. So before the year 2025, and a number of ways, they tell you this in a school, they have BC, before the Common Era, is what people who are not of a Christian mindset or belief would say. And then the one with a Christian would have said before the Christian era. So before that, thousands of years, people lived, had different spiritual or religious belief systems. So for African descendants racialized as black people, there's one source that said, based on, and I said to welcome for call and change the conversation at any time. The number at 280-5848, 280-5848. Once you're not calling, you know I want to talk about black people. So there's this book called Exploding the Myths, Volume 1, Nile Valley Contributions to Civilization by Anthony Browder. Author of From the Browder File, introduction by Dr. John Henry Clark is this book. And one of my main texts, one of the look at time frame. So it's upon this, a historical overview of Kemet and ancient Egypt. No one knows for certain when civilization in Kemet first began, though oral records indicate that a considerable amount of activity was taking place as early as 20,000 BCE. Now, 20,000 BCE will be 20,000 plus 2025. So according to oral reports, it'll be over 20,000 years ago that there's oral record of African melanated people on the continent of Africa. And I say, I know they have to argue with anybody. I really like have conversation with reasonable people. And I consider reasonable, especially when you hear new information or different information from where you accept to be true or where you believe to be true. Belief is based on faith, and then anything else is evidence-based. And I really don't have the tolerance or the time for people mindset whether how you know what I'm writing in that book that true peace and blessings to know. I had a reason for make way get to know yourself better as African descendants racialized as black people in Belize. And so looking at that timeline, which is a a moderate timeline, there are a number of things that happened before the Common Era that they have evidence for. So, and I gone there for say that the story of us as a people did not start with the enslavement of our people. It was an interruption of the contribution to world civilization made by African descendants racialized as black people. Now it's intentional why we not get taught. Intentional because the more you learn and the more you see yourself or people who look like you and learn what and do when it comes to civilization, you hold your back up straighter, you feel good by yourself, and that's why meaningful representation matter. And that's why I say all my kinfolk aren't my kinfolk, because not because somebody that want African descendant mean that that person and all the way have high vibration and low vibration. The hope is that at the time when you're birthed, depending on the family where you get birthed into, and for their level of awareness and consistent right action, that human being from the time of conception will be at one different level of knowing of themselves and acceptance of themselves, so that when they come to this earth, to this world, which is primarily because of so many injustices will happen and the time we live in, that they're more prepared than I was, or my parents were, or my great-great-grandparents were. So that's the only reason why I got there as far as the timeline. For say, African people, they're about day one. Melanated, dark-skinned people from the continent that we know as Africa. I use that word because that's the terminology most people are familiar with. So I'm done gone over, and I believe I finished finally, in 3 weeks, finish where African descendants racialized as black people came from in Belize. So another story where I'm going to follow up with an open is that I tell you, I mean, when I read then thing heavy, right? Because that's what we people will talk about. And I communicate with energy and I have no beginning or end. I process death differently from people. I know he had a phone to ring. I know said the phone to ring. Oh. Tell me to check my oh, okay. Thanks, Harlan. Harlan just texted to say oh, okay, Facebook messages. Marlene Esquiliano, my Belizean people be safe and have a nice Easter holiday. Road news, Tillit bus is on fire at mile 12.5 on the Philip Golson Highway near Fire Club. No one was hurt. Fire department official is on the scene as well as awaiting other details. That came in at 7:06 and right now it's 7:16. Roberta Pott, what is the alternative and why are schools still allowing sugar and salt treats mostly to be sold at the gates of our schools? I don't know if I'm listening last week, Wednesday, Brother Roberto, I had Brother Ako Motota, who is a black revolutionary from Trinidad and Tobago. We had this conversation and his response is, the only response is revolution. Because the truth is that Morning, talk to it. Morning. Morning, talk to it. You're up on the air.
Good morning, Yaya.
Morning.
Yaya, what is wrong with us as a country? Where do we get to the point when we have huge acreages of oranges, right? But you go to the market, the orange is just a little bit bigger than a lime. I do notice that some stores put it in a bag, while in red string bag, and then they tell you $42. But my one get is like, where do we come across these oranges that cost so much? And it's so small. But we plant the orange here. So, you're telling me that alone you need to get back to the factory?
Good question, ask brother. Valid question they ask, brother. Valid question they ask. I don't have the answer, but valid question they ask.
But how come it reach me there? You know, Yaya, this coconut water was the cream. Everybody had one $2 bottle of coconut water. You can't find a $2 bottle of coconut water at many of the people anymore. They have a $5 bottle. But yes, Yaya, see the thing I remember. When they started the $5 coconut water, you have a very fat bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, I buy one of the bottles. It went on a massive bag. I wish I could clean them to that size. And the $5 in the coconut water. Yesterday, I promised I would never ever buy another coconut water.
Make I ask you this. If it tastes like coconut water, another thing what happen is, and then they mix the coconut water, if then they put sugar in the coconut water, but some of the coconut water not taste like 100% coconut water.
Well, this person, honestly, that was coconut water. I know when they put water, when they got sugar in it. Trust me. This was coconut. So I can't try to be cheap because I mean, somebody I know very well, and I don't think even it's cheap. It's just that I feel like, where will you get that? I mean,
well, it sounds like you're saying chicha because of how the battle gone on diet.
Yeah. Well, Karam, someone did it because, man, this Karam was like the best in the world. I mean, I don't know where they put it there, but it was good. So I stopped telling you about it because I wanted to buy my grandmother one, me one, buy my one. And when I stopped her, it said they don't got $2 cup. They only got $3.50 cup. And I was like, but why? What if they can afford $3.50 cup?
They don't have dollar? The least I could pay that $3.50?
Yes, that's it. That's the way it's at. They don't have no option there. So I didn't tell the girl, in my case, it doesn't matter if it's a $5, they're right. But a lot of people won't be able to afford it because it was just still for their needs.
But then another thing when I tell me that the community, brother, they say, I don't really think that people sit down and create a loan can for to get can lab. I forget the remedy, but them they tell me how they're not genuine can lab, how the people and what they sell it stretch it. And
yeah,
I'm like,
well, I will tell you that it's not genuine now. It has been sampled with. I can tell you that.
How you know?
They have Vaseka user definitely, and what listen to me. Whatever they tampered with, it's really good. So, and that's why I buy it for this girl. But I have to wake up there too because I said, if I encourage you to buy it for you, next week or next month, you will have it before her.
But brother, brother, you know the cost of items going up. But pay not going up, but you know the cost of items going up. What you want to keep in though?
If I keep buying the stuff, you'll keep raising the damn price.
But brother, that's how business work. That's the demand and supply.
Well,
I mean, if you stop by that now, put them out of business. If more would I think so, then they might be forced to bring the price down. But most of we want to buy it, reel up and keep buy it.
But yeah, I want to tell you something. Yesterday, I went to a store and I thought they had Borussia, which I am from Borussia, so I love it. So I took 3 packs of Borussia because I said, well, you know, if I'm going to die, I might as well die happy. Well, I put that on the shelf and they tell me it was $54.
At least you're dead happy. It might cost a lot of money, but you're dead happy.
But yeah, when I asked the girl, how much I promised for Borussia? And she told me $18. I said, try it.
How much?
But it was good.
Wait. How much a pound for the Mercia?
$18.
You buy it?
Well, yes, I did because I liked it.
No, you see? You're going to pay $18 a pound for the Mercia, but you don't want to pay 3 something for the can lab.
No, but the Mercia was excellent. It was really good. So I have to eat it. I love Mercia, you know, so I have to eat it. But what I'm saying is that it's like paying for a plate of food, You know, I went to a lady the other day, and she said that business wasn't good. And I could tell her why her business isn't good. Her business isn't good because there is no love in her food. Yaya, if you get up the morning and you sing a happy song and you go buy food and love, it doesn't matter if you charge me $22 a plate. You better believe when I want to eat that food, I'm a fine youth. Yaya, if they put you way in the back of the let them look back here, I'm going to find you.
Well, they're not find me no kind of cook, but I hear what they say.
Well, I'm telling you, there are people like Miss Kerma, Miss Avo, the Boulevard, and certain other places like D&D's behind the hospital. Man, it no matter where you go, if you keep that standard, you're going to have people coming to you. When you retire, people are saying, why?
I know, like Marva's from Marva's restaurant. I can ask you, before it got to $18 a pound for the Mercia, how much a pound was it before? Do you remember?
I paid $6 a pound.
What?
At the market 2 weeks ago.
No, man. Come on now. You tell me you going from $6 a pound to $18 a pound for Mercia?
Yeah, but the one they call by the market come from Corzal. And they have it in a foil. This one is from a meat shop. They make it themselves. And it's wrapped in their plastic thing. Nicely packaged. So, I guess I just wanted to make it every day. So, but it was good. So I'm
happy that you're happy.
But it was good.
Wait, let me ask you something. You do walk? You do anything while you eat Mercia? What do you do for your health and well-being, brother?
Actually, I can't drink rum.
You stop drink rum?
Well, I don't drink every day again.
You got a problem. First you tell me you stop. Then you say you drink every day. Now which one?
You know that saying I stop is a lie. You know, I would be honest. I only drink on Saturdays. And I don't know that I gotta get up and go to work because apparently I have sleep apnea. And the machine is so expensive, it's almost better than I just go and lose weight. Because the only reason why I have sleep apnea is because I'm too damn big. So now I gotta get up and walk every morning.
Okay, so are you getting up and walking?
Well, yeah, but if you notice that some like I'm in pain, my back is feeling the hell out of me.
Brother, it's important that you listen to me. I'm willing for come to Belize City as many Saturdays as I can make a walk. You have to walk, my brother. If that one short distance, you have to get moving.
Yeah, I got you. I already committed there.
You done what?
Like I said, you only live once. I really would like to make it to 60. If I make it to 60, I'm happy, Lord Jesus. Thank you. Something would be the icing on the cake.
But if you really want to do that, you have to change your eating pattern and you have to move, brother.
Well, yeah, let me tell you something. First of all, I got 1 million people tell me this eating habit. Yeah. Have you been to the market recently, Yaya?
No, I've not been recently.
Well, you sound like a politician. You could tell me about it because you never yet can buy it, they can see how you have.
No, brother.
You can't buy healthy food in the year.
It can't.
Are you losing your mind?
No. Listen to me. I know it costly for eat healthy. I know they said no to that. And I'm not going to the market, but I used to go regularly. I'm not going recently, so I know the cost of things are going up. I know that not everything we are buying from the market healthy because they have they spray it with pesticide. I'm aware of all that. But just to say you can make different choices in your eating. So make I give you one, besides what? Make I give you this one. This is another good one, right? You know vegan bites the BTL Park?
No.
Vegan, no, this is one I want to have Ras Ruben on before I left WB this month. Ras Ruben and his family primarily responsible for saving a lot of Belizean people's lives, and the Belizean people will choose differently. The food is 100% healthy. It's affordable, it have variety, and it is Monday to Saturday. 12 o'clock to about 3 Monday through Friday, it is out at BTL Park Saturday night. When you're so part of the BTL stage there, hinder to the right of the BTL stage, vegan bites. If you go text, my number is 671-8050. Text me and I will send you Ras Ruben number and he send out a menu every day. Affordable, tasty, and healthy. And I see people who are pre-diabetic or diabetic, if they have to get discipline for follow the order now. And you could sit in at them. One thing you can't lie if you eat healthy and exercise, because you show up in your body. And I just said to your brother, I want you there wrong long. I really, and then you could be an example for a lot of people because you're well known. And the last time I said, what? My brother really get thicker. And so I'm concerned about your health. And you concerned about your health too.
Yeah. I want to do something, right? The last time somebody told me they really concerned about my health. I took it the wrong way. I told them, don't be concerned when I'm this big, because that means I'm healthy, I'm eating. Be concerned when I'm neck and bones, because I'm not surviving. But God, this surviving is too good.
No, you know. No, you know that you may just inner your feelings. Because you know what the doctor have to tell you, brother. You want before the doctor tell you, you catch yourself.
You better believe
and the older you get, the harder you get, brother. The hard.
I won't wait for the doctor tell me because I have a game.
So, brother, that the choices we make every day.
Tell
me how I could help you. Tell me. I don't tell you to go to Ras Ruben.
Tell me how I could buy one. Soccer rings and I'll give $25 for the stock. I don't need it. I'm looking thing.
I don't got the answer for that. I don't got the answer for that.
I was at the market at 4 o'clock this morning. I tell the people at the market that you're missing. One thing I will do, eventually, I will have all the things you have in the market on my card.
Okay.
And I will tell you something. I'll just go by one year, ask what's the price, and I'll tell you here's something. Take a garnish me and leave the bite for you.
Make I got the 2 cents come time, but thanks for the call and the reasoning. Text me. Make I go send Ras Ruben number to you. My number is 671-8050. Anybody want to listen? I'm texting Ras Ruben number. Vegan Bites, BTL Park. Thanks for the call, brother. One love. 671-8050.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, brother. One love. It's 2 cents come time, brought to us by Fort Point Security.
You're watching Creme Television, and this is WUB 2 St. Cam. And you know what? I always want to know if Ladyville should be a town or a city. Can it develop? So I need to find out from some people who live in Ladyville how they feel about that. Maybe we check on their 2 cents.
Well, I'm for and against. I think mostly the people of Ladyville would want to see that because of development. However, I do think that we need to do some more consultation. And after consultations have been done, the people will speak.
Yeah, your 2 cents.
That's my 2 cents.
I don't want it. I don't want Ladyville. Too much taxes. So that's just my viewpoint. I know that eventually we might get there where we will have to pay taxes, more taxes, because we're paying already. But for now, I'm happy to be enjoying the minimum taxes that we pay. Thank you. That are my 2 cents.
Thank you.
Wow, Ladyville turning a city. I shop, but I think it's possible because as population develop a lot more, I think a lot more people need places for shop, places for recreate, because Ladyville will get bigger and bigger and bigger. I think city is the best word, but like I think more developed would be greater. I don't know. What tongue, like a tongue. Maybe it could turn into a tongue now before it turns into a city. Because city yeah, it should be a tongue, but yeah. But I support the further development and everything. Yep. Yeah.
All right. So what are your 2 cents about Ladyville develop probably to a tongue or a city? What are your 2 cents? What do you think?
I believe that most of our small villages and even towns are overdue for upgrades. So we have to look at the legislation and we have to look at it as a people to upgrade places like Ladyville to like one town status, and then have people more contribute to the lifestyle and the upgrades of our municipalities, right? Like I remember in India where my wife comes from, they incorporated 8 municipalities to become one big city. So they call it a mega city of Bangalore in South India. And I think we need to move towards something like that, like the outer parts of Belize City, to incorporate those villages and municipalities to become like mega cities. And so we get more cosmopolitan and, have people more contribute to taxes and those kinds of things, have more banks out there, malls and different services to people could access, yeah. So that might be saying. Yeah.
Tired of replacing light bulbs? LEDs are what you need. LEDs last up to 30,000 hours. That's 30 times longer than incandescent bulbs, and up to 8 times longer than compact fluorescents. So less changing and less trash. Planet Earth thanks you. And the LED experts at Brothers Habet and Habet will help you find the best LED solution with colors for every room and mood, starting as low as $6.95. You can even get LED strips for home, office, and industrial use. So say goodbye to fluorescent tubes forever. And because they use up to 90% less energy, you save money. Money you can spend on other things. So head to Brothers Habet or Habet and Habet today. You can also call, email, or Facebook us. Have a brilliant day.
I'm Randall Friesen and I manage Westville Produce. better known as Granny's Foods. That's our main brand. So we offer high quality grains, beans, rice, and we also offer corn chips made from 100% locally grown corn. We saw a need for high quality locally produced products. A lot of the best products are being exported, and we said, we need to keep some of the best products here in Belize rather than export everything. Atlantic Bank has helped us achieve our goals by providing the financing for us to be able to launch products faster than we would without the financing that they offer. We find that Atlantic Bank is very customer friendly, especially with small and medium-sized businesses. We find that Atlantic Bank is more than willing to go the extra mile. They try to understand your business. So when we go to Atlantic Bank with a certain need, we find that they try to develop a solution that will meet our specific need. I would encourage any small business owner to go to Atlantic Bank for their financial services. They're very friendly, and just overall, their service is excellent.
"20 years ago, we built a company that is about more than just connection through technology. We've been partners in progress, empowering communities, nurturing growth, and strengthening bonds. We've grown together, lifting not just businesses, but dreams, not just communities, but families. Because true success isn't measured in years, but in the lives we've touched, the opportunities we've created, and the connections we've made together."
As a Smart customer for the past 18 years, they have provided me with exceptional value and connected me to the most significant moments in my life.
For 20 years, Smart has been a pioneer in telecommunication innovation, from offering services in underserved areas to launching promotions that increase your connectivity.
They go beyond calls. They're committed to a brighter future for us all. That's why I'm proud to stand behind them.
As we look ahead, our mission to enrich your lifestyle with affordable, innovative, and cutting-edge wireless communication solutions is stronger than ever. We'll continue to connect what matters most, you. Smart, celebrating 20 years of bringing people together.
Tired of appliances that just don't last? Appliances that just can't keep up? It's time for a change. GE Appliances delivers reliability, innovation, and performance you can trust. The decision is easy. Don't settle for less. Choose quality, choose reliability, choose GE. Paid for by homeowners who demand better appliances.
A Mandala Easter notice. Our advertisers, sellers, and readers are advised that there will only be one issue of the newspaper for Easter week. The paper will hit the streets on Wednesday morning, April 16, 2025. After the Easter holidays, there will only be the Friday issue of the Mandala, which will hit the streets Friday, April 25, 2025. Have a happy and safe Easter from the management and staff of Cremandala.
there for me, and I have to talk as much, and I learn. And so the first point, when you watch the news and media workers are interviewing politicians, oftentimes they're not reasonable people. And my experience is that people were in a position of power and influence and wealth, not like you question it, and not like you hold it accountable. And so for the viewers or streamers who to watch the news engagement, and that's something we have noticed distinctly different. I did a Belize on top of Belize. And Belize, and let's say, since the year started, I started to watch TV again, but I only watch Al Jazeera. The entire time I say the same thing over and over. But I really appreciate the documentaries and the interviews and the debates. So, excuse me, oftentimes culturally the Belize, and I work on it, but it's a challenge. To be able to have conversations with people, especially when you disagree, for listen without cutting people off, for not take it personal, for not make assumption by what the person said, and ask questions for clarity. Because we don't have one culture of that, then the conversations, the engagements are usually draining. We're not listening to understand what somebody to say, for learn from what the person to say. That oftentimes people want to win arguments. It's just draining, and it's sad when you say mature people still behave like young children who their brain not fully developed, not have the emotional intelligence, and one lot of way not have the emotional intelligence. They never teach you, so one lot of way no know how to feel one feeling. So I could feel one feeling that I've learned to describe as anger or sadness or hurt or grief or shame or guilt. And for be able to sit with it and recognize that, okay, this is what this feeling name. What triggered this feeling? When I first had this feeling, how I could navigate this feeling so that I not allow the feeling to determine if I will respond physically, verbally, body language, and if I respond, how I could, I still process the feeling, but how I could temper it so that when I communicate with the person that I communicate with, I'm not being intentionally mean. I'm being sensitive to the person, maybe what they go through at that. It's a lot when you communicate with people, and it takes time. But however you show up externally, it's because of a reflection of what happened inside of you. Now, some people got some good lyrics, and they're really good actresses and actors. I could tell you because I've been one of them. And I could say the things where I say publicly about myself because I don't deal with it myself inside. And I have one level of acceptance, and so I could be transparent about it. Day one, I tell people, like any other human being, I have my flaws. And I know say it superficially. There are things that I need to work on, and sometimes I'm in a good space, and sometimes I'm not. And whether you meet me privately or publicly, that's true of me. I don't have nobody to impress. I don't beg friend, in no matter your blood relation to me or not. I'm okay with me because I'm answerable to myself and the Creator, our African ancestresses and ancestors. And I make one effort for, that I said, take things out your own eye before you take it out of people's eye, that when I share that I use myself, so I know, because I as flawed as everybody else. So the same challenges, well, a lot of the challenges where I live with, most human beings live with. And so based on your level of So hurt people, when I heal, hurt people. Healed people, not hurt people. But the one process, the whole of your life, you're a healing process. So there are different levels. And so it really matters. When the first caller called in and talk about how he experienced politicians responding to journalists or media workers, it's not healthy. But that's not a reflection of the individual. That's not what nobody to say about you. So however you carry yourself, the way you say about yourself, either your best or worst advertisement. Nobody don't have to, and some people are really, like, people will wear masks, and some people really wear their mask well. But one thing you can't trick, the energy. You could be the best actress or actor. Somebody who in tune with energy, your energy, you might think that you got it down pat, but people could feel a vibration. And I often say to people that one of the reasons where sometimes you have to have guana guts for they're wrong with working people for a period of time, because they could do and say some really hurtful things. But one thing I find consistent about working people, no matter where I go, they're not real people. They're not genuine people. They don't adhere to status quo standards a lot of times, but they're not real people. And I really value real people. Just be yourself. And if you don't know who yourself, because you never spend enough time getting to know yourself, I'd encourage you, especially during the spring season, it's a time of rebirth. Spend some time with yourself. Tell yourself the truth. I mean, if you want to lie to everybody else, their business, but please, tell yourself the truth. Looking at the mirror. If you have people in your inner circle where you could keep it real with you, and you could tell. You could tell based on how people respond to you, how people engage you. I mean, I never grew up knowing like what boundaries are. I'm learning. And this is, some people get used to in a low vibration state because they're in a low vibration state too. So when you're growing and healing and then you the process to a higher elevation, they now appreciate you at that higher elevation because they're used to you in a lower vibration because they're in a low vibration. So know that some people come in your life for a reason or a season, and some people come for teacher lessons. They're not everybody come for stay. And so that for you just evaluate yourself and keep yourself humble, like be real about your traumas and your pains that you're living with that you have to work through. And you don't need nobody approval or agreement as long as you know to intentionally hurt yourself or other people. And I say all of that to say what the brother said about how primarily politicians engage media workers. And even some of the media workers themselves, the way you ask a question. So I think one time, I get one text from one of my brother where listen regularly. He said, "Good morning, yeah. Kindly send the contact for Vegan Bites. He could probably develop a link that could be shared for others to be added in his distribution list to receive what is available today." Thanks, Brother Ronald. And the one better, I don't know why I never think about that. I just want to give out Vegan Bite number. This is how he do this for his business. As Ruben, free advertisement, right? I'm a beloved brother. So the number for Vegan Bites, the 667-1652. 667-1652. If I have one guest this morning from 8 to 8:30, but I dropped the ball. I never get the Zoom link to the person earlier. I hope the person willing for call next week, the person is well known, but they're not somebody I usually see on TV or upon the media. But why I want this person, because I really like storytelling. Like, I grew up in the 70s, and our African tradition, like, I really enjoy storytelling. And this person, that's somebody where, on the outside, you could say, definitely working class family, but clearly successful. Based on the people's definition of success varies. But I say successful from the standpoint of being an entrepreneur. You see the person progressing as a family, the business where the person lead. And so I had one conversation with a person, and I left with my mouth wide open. When this person, and what I want a person to talk about, the fiscal awareness. The person money smart. Money smart. And we not hear enough. You see people that don't know, people make assumptions about people, they don't know how people they make their liberty. And I was really wowed by the sister. So I asked her for come. I have she come on today. I asked my brother Timmy Stamp if he's available to come tomorrow. We're not seeing her for a while. We're not hear about him for a while. And he has been consistently, actively having these after-school sessions in a number of impoverished, marginalized, neglected communities, primarily African descendants, racialized as Black people, communities. And then on Wednesday, I'd bring in one European woman who lived in Salvador for years. I've had her on Sunday Review before, for share the real, on the ground, there are different perspectives. A number of people, have been influenced by corporate media and the Bukele regime, and so feel that incarcerating people, the how you respond to criminal action on the ground. I'm going to listen to something, and it keeps talking about, no, I know to make no excuse for people who harm people who make wrong choices. None of them make fun. But what I want always, and oftentimes, that we African descendants racialized as Black brothers, whose faces we see, the parade cross, the screens. We oftentimes not see the people who support that process. And there are other people that we don't see who support that process. And so what we not say that the white collar criminals, they are as guilty of offenses, of harms of human beings as the working class, primarily Black brothers in Belize, in the Caribbean, in the African diaspora, in the Caribbean diaspora, guilty. So I just say, if we want to be fair about people, what it create harm to Belizean people, what it shorten our lifespan, where got wrong at walking dead people, then we need to see more white collar criminals cross the screen. How we tell the stories of African descendants racialized as Black people matters. And one of the reasons, after we come back from break, 2 minutes we're going to break and be 8 o'clock. When we come back from break, I've been telling you last 2 or 3 weeks ago, that when I read stories about, and I intentionally go find out about African descendants racialized as Black people in Belize, for we people in that. And when I find then the stories are heavy, it's emotionally draining. I have to take conscious break from them. But I tell you now, my sister Sonia Allen sent me one book a couple weeks ago. One of my sister come in Friday. I think it bring about at least 3 books for me. Hail Up Kebe from Kebe's Corner. And most of the time, I ask people to bring books to me, and then I look for used books. I would pay for the books when they come. Some people gift me the books, and I really, really appreciate it. I think the past 3 weeks, one of my sister, original UBAD member, Sister Elma, brought this book, Sacred Instructions, Indigenous Wisdom for Living Spirit-Based Change, Sherry Mitchell. I know only read books by, and majority of my books are by and for with the interest of African descendants, racialized Black people, but I read other books as well. And so I'm going to tell you now that I get this book, and this is one of the few times where I cry. I'll tell you I don't cry. When I'm younger, I cry, baby, but I work through most of my issues. I know if I say a Black man cry, guarantee I won't cry. That I guarantee I won't cry. But usually I know, I just don't have the need to express myself like that. But I don't got an issue with crying, because crying is very cleansing. So I don't got an issue with crying. But I want to read to you, I want to share with you this incident will make a cry, and this happened at Belize. And I want we as African descendants racialized as Black people and other Belizean people know the truth of our people. Remember, our story doesn't start with the enslavement of African people. It was an interruption of our glorious history, as somebody before me said, and I just to say it. So we're going to take one break. It's 8 o'clock in sweet Southside Belize City, and I mean it when I say sweet Southside. Southside Belize City, that's sacred grounds. African Belize, as I tell people, I love nature. Our father's a surveyor. All my life I used to eat in nature. But when I tell you, I love Belize City. Southside in particular, like that the community will nurture me, will affirm my identity. I want forever loyal to Southside. Break time.
Explore the great outdoors with Benny's quality and savings.
Need to submit your sickness benefit claim online and have a physical medical certificate? Here's how you can do it. First, go to ssbportal.org.bz and log into your My Social Security account. Next, on your dashboard, click Benefits and choose Forms. Review the requirements, then click Continue to proceed. Click Apply under Sickness Benefit to start your claim. Review and confirm your banking information. If it is not correct, select No and follow the steps to update your banking details. If your banking information is correct, select Yes. Next, if your illness is not related to an injury at work, select No and proceed to upload your medical certificate. Select your claim period and confirm your employer details. Read the declarations and click each to agree. Click Submit and you're done. A confirmation email will be sent to you. Your employer will also receive an email with your claim details and a request for your salary information. If needed, submit your sickness benefit claim online and receive real-time status updates.
Whether you are a busy person or stuck in traffic or having an adverse or very demanding circumstance, tension builds up, causing you to be stressed out. Stress attacks everyone, anytime, any age. And stress is a killer. Palm City? It's best to be alive than dead. So visit Freetown Drugstore to get options to relieve stress and to relax your mind.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you today?
I'm so stressed out.
Okay, I'm saying help you right now. When I this daily, for 10 days, and I'm good after that, okay?
Okay.
Freetown Drugstore, 28 Freetown Road, where you are better off alive than dead. Freetown Drugstore, telephone 223-2876.
A Mandala Easter notice. Our advertisers, sellers, and readers are advised that there will only be one issue of the newspaper for Easter week. The paper will hit the streets on Wednesday morning, April 16, 2025. After the Easter holidays, there will only be the Friday issue of the Mandala, which will hit the streets Friday, April 25, 2025. Have a happy and safe Easter from the management and staff of Cremandala.
Welcome back to Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes at 9 minutes after 8 this Monday morning. Monday. It's our time, Belizean people. The phone number is 280-5848. I'm not as prepared as I should be for this story, but I'll tell you now where I feel comfortable for telling you. So there's a... Forget the story, will make I cry. In it was December 1821, 95 people approached Colonel George Arthur. And these are people who would have been indigenous from the Mosquito Shore and African descendant. Clearly they had to look like black people while they feel like they could be enslaved. But they said that they shouldn't be enslaved because for their observation, European enslaved African people. And then they say they have indigenous blood in it. And the enslavers, colonizers pushed back. The Colonel George Arthur made favorable and supported them. Eventually they lost on a legal ground, but the 95 people get their freedom. I say all of that for say is, the enslavers never just go along with it. They send somebody to England for put for them position forward legitimately. And this book where I get that the original copies of the original documents where the English, European enslavers put forward for say why these people should remain enslaved and pretty much born out one of their own, George Arthur for say, dirty and worthless. So the book is called The Defense of the Settlers of Honduras Against the Unjust and Unfounded Representations of Colonel George Arthur, late Superintendent of the Settlement. British Honduras citizens, principally contained in his correspondence relative to the condition and treatment of slaves. So, I shall send one copy. Wait, I'm gonna take one copy of this page because this a really, at least it's hard on my eyes to read because the font really small. I want to send it to Harlan just so you could see how small the font is, and it makes it challenging to read. But I read it. Today I'm going to buy my magnifying glass. I have to get a magnifying glass. Anyway, so in this book, the Wapaya gets some real shush. And in one of them, it talk about, so this particular book have evidence of how horrible, how terrible European people and some people who would be considered free African descendants racialized as black or free Africans or free blacks. There you go. Thanks, Harlan. And then when I don't show them what the front and the back of the book look like too. How terrible. I want to make sure before I left fire, I tell you somebody's story. So the shoulder to shoulder lie, and it's a lie. And I share the evidence with them for make you understand that people intentionally not tell we but we stories because them benefit when we don't know who we. So as black media host, me just to pick up the baton where the elders and ancestresses and ancestors passed to me. They have people after me where I'm passed it to. I just to continue the story. And so he explained, that is sacred instructions that the book was Sister Elma bring for me. I don't read it yet, but yeah. But they close style and it's hard for the see kind of so close, you can't see the whole book. So in this book, where I get my sister Sonia, thanks Harlan, it have details where you not find in other books, because remember, they are the exact replica of the letters that would have been written. So they make the case, George Arthur make the case as superintendent, like the evidence of how terrible people are treated. And that they had not used the, and unlike, for historical purposes, I have to use the word, what I used here, I said they declared the consolidated slave law of Jamaica to be enforced, and this would have been in 1821. So, in this whole process, make I just read the thing. I just want to read the paragraph where make I drop water. And you'll find out one person name, and I write in the book, this person name come up again. And I tell you no, I might talk hard. I tell you no, for people who like say enslavement was a long time ago. When I mention, and I'm going to look because I got time this morning, I'm going to call in the number at 280-5848. When I call the person name, as it's written in the historical records, and only realize how that person family name, the boucher, in a 2025, that the connection between that enslavement wasn't that long ago, because this the way people's stories start, that believes. And I read from Appendix D, and this is under entrust of a letter from Colonel Arthur to Earl Bathurst, KG, dated Honduras 10th January 1822. So a little over 100 years ago, because over 200 years, we're in 2025. It says, after considerable hesitation and delay, the bench consented that writs of repelvin, and repelvin means to repair, to restore, to reclaim, to pay off, should be issued to the descendants of two enslaved, named Rhode Island and Phyllis, who claimed their freedom by virtue of the manumission of their master, Mr. Cahoon, who died in the year 1768. But as bonds amounted to the enormous sum of 4,000 were necessary to be entered into before the writ could be taken up, a difficulty presented itself which would have been insurmountable to these poor people without my assistance. The bonds, however, being executed, the case came out at the October Grand Court, and by verdict of a jury, a family of 18 poor creatures who had been unjustly held in enslavement for 53 years were set at liberty. The enslavery of this family was mainly insisted upon by Mr. Bowen, who held 6 of them in servitude and whose inhumane conduct formed the subject of my last dispatch. Can you imagine how hellish enslavement was, physical chattel enslavement was, to be held for 50 plus years unjustly slow, and the enslaver knew, and still did it. So the name that's mentioned here is Mr. Bowen. Now when you go through them papers, for his name come up over and over again. So that I mean one, right? When I hear a name mentioned there one time. Then under Appendix E, on the call now 2805848, under Appendix E, copy of a letter from Colonel Arthur to the Earl Bathurst, KG, dated 22nd February 1822, Government House, Belize, Honduras, 22nd February 1922. My Lord, I have the honor to report to your Lordship that at the close of the poll on the 31st December last for the election of 7 magistrates to serve for the year 1822, Mr. Manfield William Bowen, whose character and conduct I have so frequently been under the painful necessity of bringing under your Lordship's notice, was of the number returned, and on the Provost Marshal General's waiting upon me, agreeable to use, with the return of the poll for my approval or disapproval, I objected to his person. So they had one election for 7 magistrates for serving at 1822. And Colonel Arthur, this individual, Manfield William Bowen, was elected, and he, the superintendent, objected to his person. As Mr. Bowen, I understand, petitions through some solicitor in London, your Lordship, for redress, I beg, by submitting a copy of my letter to the magistrates at the moment of his disqualification, with copies annexed of the documents to which the letter refers. Morning, thanks for call. Talk to me.
Greetings, Sister Yaya.
Greetings, brother. I expect you to call me from morning. Talk to me.
Yeah, this is Ramaran, the field Negro. It's very important for all our Afro-descendant people, wherever they are, to understand one thing. When you read history, or when you go to history,
you better stop reading history and read our story. Because when you go into history, you go into European reading. And when we read European reading, that's the miseducation of the Negro, because they only want to teach us turn the other cheek to make we continue slavery for even to our coming children, the coming generation, I mean to say. So it's very important, read our story. Because people, they read history, yeah, but then they read Shakespeare, and they read Einstein. No, that's not our story. So Mutabaruka said, search your history and it will show.
I appreciate.
If you don't know from whence you came, you are due to live in shame. And to close it, because I don't want to take all your time, I heard a brother say, I think it was by Nuri, that in Puerto Barrios, they do not accept black people as indigenous. Well, in my personal experience traveling throughout Central America and beyond, no Latin American country recognize African or African descendants as indigenous in where if they're born in Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, Colombia, Mexico. No, just Mexico, just the last year when since this lady took over, Shinebone Pardo, she just started to talk indigenous, but they still not say indigenous. He said the indigenous and the African descendants, they make you claim that you are not indigenous. So that's a story that is reality. To all Latin America, no Latin American government has ever recognized Afro-descendants as indigenous, even if they were born there. And now close to the final with this, I don't know if I told you this before. In the 1879, I went for the first time traveling on a ship. I went as a seaman, 1979. I traveled to the city of Puerto Barrios, and there I joined the ship to head for other countries, other cities and ports. But I remember that from the 70s to the 80s, Puerto Barrios was a 90 and beyond % black people. Now when you go back there, you're lucky to find 10%. One love, respect.
Thanks for the call. I really have to thank the caller because he made a valid point, and I read from this, and I should have said this and I didn't. And this is what it says. Despite their remarkable nature, these documents, like all materials that were created by white officials and settlers, and then chosen for preservation in colonial archives, must be read carefully and critically. So valid point the brother make, and I appreciate that reminder that remember these are what oppressors, enslavers, colonizers, this are what they choose, this are for them bias writing, and this are what they choose for share. But even within that, we still find valuable stories about our African people. Morning, talk to it. Morning. Yes, brother, talk to it.
Mr. Bancher, we should start reading history and read our history. Well, we need to read our history.
Valid. That's it?
You know I hear the truth. You hear the light, right?
I hear you, brother.
And then because the lie out of the truth.
I hear you, brother.
Very cool.
Okay. Thanks for the call, guidance. We could have that conversation as well, because how do you determine what is true or not true as you read? How do you know what to read or maybe not what not to read? Each person have their own path where they have to follow. How you determine if what you're reading, if you don't accept it as to be true or not true, not attacking. But I appreciate the caller before that as well, will remind me that I need to say that at all times, remember, most of the stuff where we read are written oftentimes by racist people, European people, and sometimes with the support of people who look like we. So that's very important, and I appreciate the brother calling me, make us say that. So I'm going to share a letter that was written about the character of this individual. It says, as Mr. Boyne, I understand, petitions through some solicitor in London, your lordship for redress, I beg by submitting a copy of my letter to the magistrates at the moment of his disqualification with copies annexed of the documents to which the letter refers, to place your lordship in the full possession of the circumstances which have governed my conduct towards this individual, and to those documents I would earnestly beg to draw your lordship's particular attention as an additional evidence of the total and absolute impossibility of protecting the slave population under the present system of jurisprudence in the colony. So this superintendent was very clear. There's no protection for enslaved people in the colony. Now, for a number of ways, I don't know if I have that book, we may have heard of an enslaved sister named Peggy. And we would have heard of her, I would say first and foremost, for a lot of it through the Mandela newspaper. And then secondly, there's this booklet that was produced by National Institute for History and Culture, a history of slavery and emancipation in Belize. It's online electronically as well. And so that the house would have hear about Peggy. Now, as you do more research, you find out more details about what actually happened to Peggy. And then you find out the names of some other enslaved people, and especially the women who are oftentimes, even in today's time, not get mentioned, not get the recognition for the work what they do. And I've had this conversation on Sunday Review a number of times. So for some people, it might be repetition. Oh, this is one of the instances. Okay, I got 5 more minutes. This is one other instance that, again, I just got this book a little bit over a month ago. And one of the things that excite me that when I find new African people where I've never heard of, some of them in name, some of them in name. So this is one of the time when I get excited because I find 4 of them. And I would call their name and I make them know, say, I find them know, I hear on the story, at least this is one version of it. So respect is due. I connect with my people and spiritually. It says, enclosure number 1 in Colonel's author of the 28th September 1821, Belize, Honduras, 11 September 1821. It's over 200 years ago. Sir, I beg to leave to acquaint you that on the 4th instance, it was reported to me that M. W. Bowen, Esquire, a magistrate, had sent a slave by the name of Guy to the common jail with orders to the constable that he, Guy, should be worked on the public works with the convicts in chains. Conceiving that the order was irregular, coming from only one magistrate, and he being the proprietor of the slave, I gave direction to the constable not to pay any attention to the order until I saw the gentleman myself, it being my intention to state my reason for not complying with his order. But being unfortunately unwell, I did not see him until the 10th instance when a meeting of the magistrates took place at the courthouse, where in the presence of 2 other magistrates, M. W. Bowen, Esquire, told me that he had taken his slave out of the jail in consequence of directions given by me for his not being worked in chains on the public works. Upon my replying to him that without the sanction of the bench, I did not think myself authorized to punish a slave in that manner at the instance of his master, he said that he convinced that an order from any magistrate was sufficient authority for me. To this, the other 2 magistrates made no kind of observation, and consequently, I am left in the very delicate situation of questioning the orders of a magistrate or violating what I conceive to be the laws of the settlement. So, M. W. Bowen, Esquire, send one enslaved person and say, he not a magistrate, and he not the enslaver. And he said, put her in a jail and make it work on the chain gang. But the superintendent said, no follow the order. Because just one magistrate can't get order. Make we hear what the other 2 magistrates got to say, and plus he not the enslaver or this person when he want. So he tell them, no follow the order. And then he may intend to talk to Bowen about it, but he say he never feel good. And when he buck her, and he buck her with the other 2 magistrates, he say, Bowen, like my word good enough as one magistrate for follow it. The other 2 magistrates not say nothing. So there are instances where the superintendent at the time they provide evidence to England that there's no justice for enslaved people. Now, we don't usually hear that story, and I want to hear some of the atrocities what we people gone through by European people, primarily, I believe. It said that, so I find me 4 people name. I beg also to state that 4 runaway slaves were delivered into the charge of the constable on the 3rd instance, 2 of which named Hero and Marriott belonged to the estate of the late S. Burnham John, John to George and James Hyde. He had another family name. To the late S. Burnham. So Hero and Marriott, the 2 enslaved people, and then belong to the estate of the late S. Burnham. You have another enslaved person named John, and John belonged to George and James Hyde. And Glasgow, my 4th enslaved brother where I find, to Mr. John Young. The 3 former were bought from the northward by some Spaniards. The latter was delivered by Mr. Harrison, a clerk to Messrs. Young and Wright, requesting that he might be kept in jail until Mr. Wright came down the river. That on the 5th instance, they were brought by an order of the magistrate before the bench, and without any trial whatever, they, the 4, were ordered to be imprisoned and worked in chains on the public works for 2 months, and to receive a corporal punishment of 128 lashes each at 4 separate times, a part of which sentence has been carried into execution. But I feel so uncomfortable in proceeding with the further punishment of those people under the impression that they have not been regularly tried, that I must beg with great submission to bring this representation under your consideration. Yeah, how much lashes? 4 different occasions. We 4 brother there. You have to learn the name again before we got a break. So they are Hero, Marriott, John, and Glasgow. For we African ancestors. Right to that Belize. 8:30 is break time.
In Belize, we value our families. We value our communities. We value our neighbors. 90% of Belizeans think it's time for laws that protect all of us and reflect society at its best. 94% of Belizeans agree that public spaces in Belize should be more accessible to people living with disabilities. In Belize, we believe in fair treatment and supporting one another. We know that our beautiful country is at its best when we come together for the greater good. 2 out of 3 Belizeans support a new law to prevent discrimination in employment and public spaces. It shouldn't matter where we come from, who we love, or what we look like. Belizeans deserve to live our best lives. It's time for laws that protect all of us and reflect our society at its best. Equal Opportunities Bill. Belize, we're ready.
I'm Randolph Friesen and I manage Westbell Produce, better known as Granny's Foods. That's our main brand. So we offer high quality grains, beans, rice, and we also offer corn chips made from 100% locally grown corn. We saw a need for high quality locally produced products. A lot of the best products are being exported, and we said, we need to keep some of the best products here in Belize rather than export everything. Atlantic Bank has helped us achieve our goals by providing the financing for us to be able to launch products faster than we would without the financing that they offer. We find that Atlantic Bank is very customer friendly, especially with small and medium-sized businesses. We find that Atlantic Bank is more than willing to go the extra mile. They try to understand your business. So when we go to Atlantic Bank with a certain need, we find that they try to develop a solution that will meet our specific need. I would encourage any small business owner to go to Atlantic Bank for their financial services. They're very friendly, and just overall, their service is excellent.
A Mandela Easter notice. Our advertisers, sellers, and readers are advised that there will only be one issue of the newspaper for Easter week. The paper will hit the streets on Wednesday morning, April 16, 2025. After the Easter holidays, there will only be the Friday issue of the Mandela, which will hit the streets Friday, April 25, 2025. Have a happy and safe Easter from the management and staff of Cremandala.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes for this morning, Monday, April 14th, 2025, the 16th week of the Gregorian calendar year. Our phone number is 280-5848. And I know there's a lot of things going on in Belize, a lot of things that go on out of the world, a lot of things. And generally we talk about all them things. But I tell you now, when I sit in for Mose starting the last Monday, last month, and they have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for a month. And they have be all things but African descendants racialized as black people, because we don't know ourselves. Most of we don't know ourselves. And when you learn yourself, has been my observation and others, you move differently, you think differently, you respond to human engagement and human experiences differently. So rightly so, if more away, never as deeply mentally enslaved as we are, and we're born in such conditions, then we would have the solutions to minimize and in some cases stop the harm that we inflict on our children knowingly and unknowingly, and then their children grow up and inflict the harm on others. Remember, the destruction of a nation begins in the household. So the first responsibility are parents, adults, people who raise people. Now this happened for generations. I think, I never know how to talk about it, on our father's side of the family, I think the 7 generations back, we trace with people, I think, to an African ancestress. So the fact that you could still count your people, the enslavement of African people never that long ago now, a number of the people in the 90s and 100 years, then they make them transition to the spirit world now, and every time one elder transition, one library closed. Remember the number is 280-5848. And so we as black people need to learn our stories. The state really, in the absence of us knowing ourselves, that really the state responsibility for ensure that there are, that then create the conditions, then create the space, then create the opportunity for majority of Belizeans live one better quality of life, live one dignified life, that when there's genuine wrong, that there's genuine repair. The state was not able to do that because the state never designed to do that. At the point of political independence, we just changed the physical people, and the mindset, the worldview, the systems when I left, everything stayed the same. So that's why we, and not only Belize, within the Caribbean diaspora, on the continent of Africa, African people and African descendants racialized as black people. And we know the continent as Africa, so that's why I refer to it as that. African people, African descendants, Afro is a hairstyle. And so it's important that we identify ourselves as who we are. African descendants racialized as black people. European descendants racialized as white people. And some conversation came up last week or the week before. And I said, to my knowledge, and I'm always open to learn something different, new, if you have the evidence, and I had to be reasonable at the time. Only European people could be racist. Nobody else. And that's because of the power structure of, oh my goodness, I think I turned my phone off. Sorry about that. Because of the racism has to do primarily with European people racialized as white and their access to power. Whereas everybody else have prejudices and biases, but they don't have access, for the greater part, to the systems of power or wealth and influence. So, they have this narrative about, and again, for sure, the lack of knowledge of we people. They hear one story and they want to sing that song it to ever, but they're not going to say, make I find out what else. So you hear African people participated in the enslavement of African people, and I don't say that never happened, but I just say, what else you know besides that? What evidence you have for making a lambase then, like, every group of people got sell out. That's not unique to African people. Every group of people got people who sell out. So what their point? You don't talk about the Europeans who had the systems in place to benefit from the extraction of human resources, other natural human resources, and still benefit for this day for making them call themselves first world and call we in the global south third world. You don't talk about that. So you, the person who would talk. Now, a serious thing when I say make sure your mind is in gear before engaging your mouth. And I don't say for offend nobody. I just to say, as Belizean people, as African descendants, as black people, we have to start to tell for ourselves the truth. We have to be honest about the conversations that we have or not have, about holding ourselves accountable for the foolishness that we listen to, what we tolerate, because there's a lot of noise in the marketplace. When, we need to pay attention to what we listen to, what we read, who are the people we wrong, what are the conversations that they have, how do they treat themselves and other people. That's not a reflection of you. I say, show me your friends and I know who you are. That's not a reflection of you. So as we age and grow, there ought to be, oftentimes it's not, there ought to be. And I said to people, because I know a lot of we got lyrics. All people have to do, they observe you for a period of time. One, your energy will not lie. So if you know to do the internal work, your energy won't deceive you every time. Morning, talk to me. Morning.
Yes, greetings, sister. It's me again.
Greetings, brother, yes.
Do you ever see around Belize City the areas where slaves used to be kept?
Enslaved people?
Yeah.
Well, one
African
of the spaces.
People, slaves.
Okay, we don't use the word slave. We use the word enslaved. It makes a difference.
Okay.
So an area that is known for enslaved people, it was formerly used by enslaved people and then by free African people, would have been Igbo tongue. But I would say primarily Southside Belize City, that enslaved African people, free what they call colored people, stomping ground, Southside Belize City.
My question is actually not that. My question is, if you've been around and see the cells where enslaved Africans used to being kept. senior citizen which passed already, he showed me, if you go around Channel 5, and you see some low looking windows like in a dungeon with burglar bar. Very low windows, almost closer to the drain. And then you go in some other areas around that same vicinity, and you see some very low window in the same area where I think this is Spring Street or the street where in front of BTV office. There was another house too. It had some very low to the ground, almost to the drain window. That gentleman, Mr. Stanley Eric Johnson, he passed away already, showed me, and he said that's where enslaved people or African slave was kept. But anyway, something else.
Wait, 1 second before you move on.
Yeah, no, okay.
Wait 1 second before you move on. I have heard that numerous times. Currently, ISCR niche have one marker in front of that space. I've heard different stories. I don't know which one it is. One says that they're shackles from enslaved people. Another story said they were chains for vessels. And you have oral stories. I'm saying I don't know. I'm just saying there's more than one story, and there's a marker in front of that building placed by the institution responsible for the research and tell Belizean people their story, was said this is what was said, but they don't have no evidence of that. That's all I could say about that story. So I can't, there is one place that I can tell you that I have been. Thanks to Sandra Cowie for keep bringing this to their attention. And that's St. John's Church. Them blocks past St. John's Church, we could go put we hand pan there. Definitely if we enslaved African ancestresses and ancestors, touch them bricks. And what I never know till this year, when you enter St. John's Church from in front of the former governor house, on the left-hand side, if you're in at the bus, you could see, because I pass Friday and sitting at the bus. If you look on the left-hand side, inside of St. John's churchyard, you want to see one semicircle of iron. And I asked them, I said, "Are you sure this is the same iron from when we people were enslaved?" They say, yes, there's a marker there. And what it says that when enslaved Africans came to worship, then couldn't, even though they built the church, you know, they couldn't come inside of the church. So that like semicircle where you say iron in a St. John's Church is where they would shackle or enslave people to that semicircle, but they can't run away, but they could stay outside and listen to the service. So those are like two occasions where I know based on the research that they were there.
Yeah, when you take your little walk around Channel 5 and around King Street in the area where, if you remember, at one time John's College used to be at the corner of King and Regent Street, which is now Minipa Garden or something.
I'm familiar with the location.
You will see the little windows way down with some bars way near to the drain, like underground or dungeon. Anyway, I agree. Like when you mentioned the Afro identity, I happen to be, I call myself Afro-Latino because I'm fluent in both languages, and my mom was origin of San Mestizo. My dad was a black man. So when I go up amongst Spanish people or Latino people in Belize around the market area, so because I was a street singer, street smart, they get annoyed because they say to me, "Why do you behave like that? And you talk Spanish?" I tell them, "Yeah." And then they say, "No, but you say, you don't even look black. You look clear." I tell them, "Yeah, but my roots is Afro." And when I tell them that, they're angry. They go to 100 and I tell them that. I tell them, "You are Indo-Latino." I tell them, "Me are Afro-Latino." Ooh, we can't take it. Because the thing is, they can't trick me. They can't lie to me. I've been through almost the entire Latin America, so nobody come from no Latin America and tell me anything. I know. They can't lie to me. I've been there, and they can't trick me with the language neither. So the Afro is very important, that identity, because the Europeans call themselves European or Caucasian, the Asian people, they are the Mongoloid, and we are the Africanos. So all those people that don't know that, please learn it. Search your history. We are Afro-descendants, but at the same time, Peter Todd said, no matter where you come from, as long as you are a black man, you are African.
Thanks, brother.
Ubafu, power to the people.
One love. One more break, and then a time for shut the shop.
breath. You feel that energy coursing through your body? That's because of me. I am the rainforest. I produce the air you breathe. I make it rain. I'm also your pharmacy. I'm home to more plants and wildlife than you're ever going to see in your lifetime. I work hard day and night, taking in all the carbon dioxide you produce and turning it into life-giving oxygen. My personality is singular. My biodiversity is mind-blowing. My generosity knows no bounds. But then, so does your greed. I give you everything I have for free. I don't want thanks. I just want respect. I want you to stop acting like I'm just bush. I want you to stop treating me like dirt. I want you to see life, not lumber. I want you to always be able to come to me and find your roots, to unwind, and yes, to always be able to breathe deep. That's a privilege many will pay for, but it's not about money. It's about having a future.
I'm Randall Friesen and I manage Westbell Produce, better known as Granny's Foods. That's our main brand. So we offer high quality grains, beans, rice, and we also offer corn chips made from 100% locally grown corn. We saw a need for high quality locally produced products. A lot of the best products are being exported, and we said, we need to keep some of the best products here in Belize rather than export everything. Atlantic Bank has helped us achieve our goals by providing the financing for us to be able to launch products faster than we would without the financing that they offer. We find that Atlantic Bank is very customer friendly, especially with small and medium-sized businesses. We find that Atlantic Bank is more than willing to go the extra mile. They try to understand your business. So when we go to Atlantic Bank with a certain need, we find that they try to develop a solution that will meet our specific need. I would encourage any small business owner to go to Atlantic Bank for their financial services. They're very friendly, and just overall, their service is excellent.
Explore the great outdoors with Benny's Quality and Savings.
A Mandala Easter notice. Our advertisers, sellers, and readers are advised that there will only be one issue of the newspaper for Easter week. The paper will hit the streets on Wednesday morning, April 16, 2025. After the Easter holidays, there will only be the Friday issue of the Mandala, which will hit the streets Friday, April 25, 2025. Have a happy and safe Easter from the management and staff of Cremandala.
Need to submit your sickness benefit claim online and have a physical medical certificate? Here's how you can do it. First, go to ssbportal.org.bz and log into your My Social Security account. Next, on your dashboard, click Benefits and choose Forms. Review the requirements, then click Continue to proceed. Click Apply under Sickness Benefit to start your claim. Review and confirm your banking information. If it is not correct, select No and follow the steps to update your banking details. If your banking information is correct, select Yes. Next, If your illness is not related to an injury at work, select No and proceed to upload your medical certificate. Select your claim period and confirm your employer details. Read the declarations and click each to agree. Click Submit and you're done. A confirmation email will be sent to you. Your employer will also receive an email with your claim details and a request for your salary information. If needed, submit your sickness benefit claim online and receive real-time status updates.
Back to Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. It's about 5 minutes to 9. And I don't know, 9 wrong here. So we have to shut down at 9. But this morning, top one variety of things. Definitely about the cost of goods going up. Brother Carla top for Can Lab gone up. Mercia gone up. This will be the last call for the morning. Carla, thanks for calling. You got about 2 minutes.
Hello.
Yes, good morning. You have about 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Hi, good morning. I'm not live, right?
Yes, you are live.
No, can I speak to someone in the office, please?
This is the Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. You have to call back after 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Thanks, guidance. All right, I'm going to take no more calls for today. I have enough time just for shut the shop. Just go over what we discussed briefly this morning, the importance of us knowing ourselves as African descendants, racialized, as Black people, about politicians, how they respond when being questioned by journalists, the importance of when you're to read for overstand that you're to read from oftentimes racist European points of views, to keep that in mind, that we need, based on your interests, based on your desires, that you don't just read just about African people by African people, but read widely to learn more about whatever your interests may be, the importance of taking care of yourself and changing the way we eat, how we feed with children, and that we have to keep moving portion size. And so, well then, Ross Ruben get a free ad for vegan bite. So I tell you right now, I don't need nobody to come to me and tell me how to sell food or whatever on the do to make I promote. I don't want to do it. I share what I want to share based on my experience and I let shot. So I don't need nobody to come ask me for big up nothing. Oh, I have to big up Kim though. Kim grab and go. Kim feed me most mornings. You know that is that I because no longer I don't get hash fish. I get straight hash fish. I get hash fish, Johnny cake, and coffee this morning. Thanks to Rapper for pick up my food for me from Kim Grab and Go on Mahogany Street. So today for Vegan Bites, today thanks, we have Meat Out Mondays, vegan enchiladas, butternut vegetable soup, spinach brown rice, split pea soup, roasted garlic, with mashed sweet potato, vegan sweet and sour chicken, vegan curry lamb, steamed vegetable, callaloo, cassava bites. You know hear all of this? Veggie and callaloo patties, vegan banana cake. And then for juices, we have orange, ginger, lime, grapefruit, watermelon, cucumber, pineapple, sorrel, carrot, tamarind, peanut pudge, and spirulina. 6671652. When you say all the options, affordable, tasty, I maintain a standard, tasty, and variety. It's worth it. If you have to plan your budget for try, at least if the once every 2 days go get to a healthy meal from Vegan Bites, I encourage you to do that. We want to thank the security guard. When I came in, it was Roger Rushford, aka Rafa. Now I think it's Shane Flowers. Here at XTV, Master Chief Operator Harlan Wagner, Malika Wagner, my hair magician brother, and Cliff Lewis, who is the Chief Engineer here at XTV. Downstairs at Creme Radio, we have Larry Guerrero, known as Larry G. We want to thank everybody who text, seen, listened, watched, viewed, live streamed. Share the link, go to YouTube, XTV Belize, subscribe, click on the notification bell if you want to stay part of the Zinc Fence family. We could not do this without the people. The people really fuel the work we've been doing here, going on 56 years, August 13th, 2025. And we value our people greatly. And not to say we don't got disagreements, because we got disagreements. But what happened is that we hold strong enough for we best interest. This show will repeat at 3:30 today on XTV. And with health and strength, we should return tomorrow. Again, only the people and save the people.
Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show by people. Belize our hopes up to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. Is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a nation. We are the people to make the changes.